aid and debt relief towards what the United Nations calls mobilizing domestic resources for development. In other words, helping countries to use their own capital resources, social capital, financial capital, and other working capital, and their own tax revenues to fund their health services and their public services generally. The problem is that because of weaknesses in the global financial system, developing countries in particular are exposed to massive illicit financial flows coming out of those countries on a scale which massively outweighs capital flows in the other direction. The best estimates we have is that somewhere between $800 billion a year to $1 trillion a year leaves the developing countries of the south and ends up in the financial centers of the north. And stuck in the middle of this process, you have these secrecy jurisdictions, many people call them tax havens, which provide a very secretive operational environment in which illicit financial flows can move and then merge very secretly into the major capital markets. And it makes it very difficult to detect the capital flows and to tax the money effectively. Now, the outcome of this has been, at a global level, a disaster. The scale of operation is massive, as we know already, but it means that the tax burden is shifting away from capital, that is, away from businesses and wealthy people, onto middle-income earners and onto lower-income earners, widening inequality, raising the cost of labour relative to capital, which means less jobs are being created. So it's creating all sorts of macroeconomic distortions, all sorts of microeconomic distortions. And there isn't a political framework, let alone a political will, to tackle these problems. So civil society is now taking this up as a big issue. We now say that if we really want to help the world's poorest countries to become self-reliant, particularly on their public services, we must put them into a position where they can tax more effectively, and that means tackling these illicit financial flows, tackling tax evasion, helping them to combat harmful tax competition, and all of the other pressures which erode their tax base.